Okay, using scale maps to calculate perimeter and area. As an example, let's look at this one. Calculate the perimeter and area of the square below using a scale of 1 centimetre is to 20 metres. So if that square, we'll assume it's on a page, every centimetre on that square is worth 20 metres in real life. So the first step is to measure the side lengths. In this case, it's a side length of 2 centimetres for the square, and we know that all the side lengths are 2 centimetres because it's a square. Okay, so we've got a side length, we measured it, and 1 centimetre is to 20 metres. So what's that side length in real life? We've got 2 centimetres, so we're going to times it by 20 and change it to metres. So 2 centimetres is 40 metres in real life. And let's put it on the square so we can use that now to calculate perimeter and area. Alright, perimeter of a square equals 4 times side equals 4 times 40 metres equals 160 metres. Okay, so just calculating the square. The perimeter is 160 metres. Now the area is side times side, or a similar formula, equals 40 metres times 40 metres equals 1,600 square metres. So when these calculations in this lesson, you're really doing perimeters and areas as you have always done, except for one thing, because it's on a scale map, you need to calculate the real size first. You've got a scale map, you need to calculate the real size first using the scale, then do the perimeter and area as you've always done. If you do that, you won't get into any problems, particularly with area. You must calculate the real size first. Okay, let's look at question 1. There's a scale of 1 is to 500 with the trapezium drawing at the top of page 9 of your Stage 3 booklet. That's the scale given underneath the trapezium. So the trapezium on the page is a scale drawing, but in real life, it's 500 times bigger. So in question 1, convert the scale by filling in the blank there. It's 1 centimetre to how many metres would mean the same thing. Alright, pause, work it out, press play when you're ready. Okay, we need to convert it from 1 is to 500 to 1 centimetre to so many metres. So we need to add the units in. Firstly, let's just add the units in because we need centimetres, right, on the left-hand side of our scale. So we're going to leave it on the right-hand side at the moment as well. So that's the same. Those two scales are equal. Now we need to convert the right-hand side to metres. Remember the fact that 1 metre is 100 centimetres. So 500 centimetres is 5 metres. So that's our scale. 1 centimetre is to 5 metres. Using that scale makes it a lot easier to do our calculations from now on for the rest of the next couple of questions. So the answer is 1 centimetre is to 5 metres. The three scales in white are the same thing. They mean the same thing. They're all 500 times bigger in real life. Okay, question 2 is to calculate the perimeter, okay, of the trapezium. So just calculate the perimeter, press pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, here's the trapezium. Now I've measured it and got those measurements there. Hopefully your measurements are very close to that. If you thought it was say 15 down the bottom or 12 along the top and so forth, that's okay. We should be very close though. There's always a slight margin of error allowed in scale mapping. Okay, now we need to calculate the perimeter. Let's look at the scale. 1 centimetre is to 5 metres. What we need to do with each of these side lengths is multiply them by 5 and change them to metres. So for example, the bottom side, 14.9 centimetres, we times it by 5 and change it to metres and get 74.5 metres. So if we do that to all the sides, times them by 5 and change to metres, we get these numbers here. Again, if you were slightly different, you should be still very close. Now that we have those measurements, it's very easy to calculate the perimeter. We just add the sides. So that's the perimeter. Add sides. There they all are. And the final answer for the perimeter is 197 metres. Okay? So we converted them to metres first, then we just added all the sides. Okay, question 3. This time you're calculating the area of the trapezium. All right, press pause, work it out, and press play when you're ready. Okay, here's our trapezium. I've got the real life measurements on it because we worked them out earlier in the previous question, so we don't need to redo that. And what we're going to have to do, if you know the formula for a trapezium for the area, that's fine, you can use it. If you don't, you just cut the trapezium up a number of ways. In the example in the answer booklet, I used a diagonal line going right through to cut it into two triangles. Or you could do this. It doesn't really matter. So there's a number of ways you could have done this. Now that's what I've done. I'll go through this example here. If you did a diagonal line, the answer's in the booklet to show you a different example. Now, to calculate the area, we've got 1, that's a rectangle, and 2, that's a triangle. We're going to work out the area of both of those shapes and then add them together. So the rectangle, the area of number 1, is length times width, 59.5 meters times 30. And that part of it is 1,785 square meters. Now let's look at the triangle. Remembering, we're still doing these areas the same way. We've got to remember our formulas. Base times perpendicular height divided by 2. So the base of that little triangle on the side is 15 meters times 30 high divided by 2 equals 225 square meters. So our total area of the first piece plus the second piece, is 2,010 square meters. Okay, so that's how to do perimeter and area when you're using scale maps. Convert them to real life measurements, then calculate perimeters and areas. Alright, it's time to try it out on page 10.